Hello, this is Svetlana Shepitsina, and today we will learn how to create a book design slideshow animation with famous Angular. I'm using Web Story Map shortcuts and autohot keys during my work. All of them you can find in my video description on YouTube and download. In order to create animated collection with famous Angular without using any famous handler like scroll view, we need to set initial animation values to each element. In our case, it's home. These values will apply when we run our page with photo gallery directive. Then on event, click, we take each element home and animate it with transitionable using set method. We specify duration and isInt function, and famous renders all animation graphs for us. Then after applying set on modifier, we need to get these influence points. Here is on modifier. We need to get this influence point for each element with FA type of animation directive. And in order to achieve like book effect, we use FA rotate Y. When working with rotation by any axis, we need to set perspective, and we use FA perspective directive on FA up, and we set it to 1000 in our case, and we need to apply this perspective, and in order to get a closer object appear bigger than a distant one, and this is for flipping our pages. And now more about functionality. When user comes to our page and just open our directive, automatically method on our directive mock runs. And this is asynchronous method that returns promise. This is function with array homes. And when we click on our mock method and when we put cursor and click Alt-B, here is our method on service. And it's our mock database. We create array of homes, and for each home we add single property image, and we resolve our promise with running method initial state using that. In order to get access to this, we set this to that, and on that we run this method initial state. This method accepts array of homes and set all initial animation parameters for our photo gallery. And first of all, we need to use famous transitionable. We create variable transitionable, and here is our array of homes, and we need to use we use map from underscore, we use helper map in order to help us ability to take one array and create another array from it. And we call it all homes, and it has a function for each home. And here we set our flip and opacity properties from transitionable. And in order to add this property to our home that has already property image, we need to use another underscore helper. It's called extend. We extend our home with flip and opacity properties and return our homes, but not just return. We apply method reverse in order to show our array from the first index. When we remove this method, I will show you from beginning. Here is this image, you can see it, and without reverse our array is shown starting from the last listing, from the last home. and since we want to show it from the first, in this case we apply reverse. So we created our mock database. We set our initial state animation parameters, and all this is done only on opening our view with directive. After that, we need to apply our animation, and for this we need to click on image. We click on image, and method on our surface next page on FA click directive runs. It has single home property, and this property will have each home will have three properties: its image, flip, and opacity for animation. And I put cursor on next page method, click Alt B, here it is. On scope next page, two methods run when we click on our image. It's first of them, it's apply animation. Alt B. Oh, it's my mistake. Alt B. Here it is. And on applying animation, we create variable config from our responsive gallery settings. On this settings on factory, we set all our animation values that we it's more convenient that set it dynamically, because we can manage it in one place. And after that we have access to it. We set our flip and opacity functionality for our animation. We configure angle for flipping, we configure angle, duration, and curve with easing function. And we mentioned all this here, and we can manage it in our settings. And after applying animation, all these parameters runs, and we can run, and we, for example, can change our angle from minus in order it would be visible to show it. To make it more visible, these changes, I delete minus, and you can see that our animation is different now. And we set our angle to minus 180 with p value divided by 1, and if we want to apply value 90, we need to divide by 2. Then it will be we will get angle 90. We applied this value first time, but our animation appeared buggy, so we decided to keep it 180. And I will change it back, and if we change duration, for example, to 500, our animation will work faster. And if it will be 5,000, it will be very slow. So you can play with all these settings here on factory. And I applied easing function, easy in out. It can be linear or something like that. And after apply animation method runs, then reset flip method runs that accept object homes and index. And when we add objects to our method on a JavaScript file of directive, then we have possibility to access it on Jade without, or on HTML without mentioning scope. And then reset flip runs, and we need this method in order to come to initial point after we reach the last home. It's my new values apply. It's too slow, I need to come back to 1500. Okay. And when we reach to last image, we want our book to be closed, and this is this functionality, reset flip. We increase index of each home index value by 1. First of all, we set initial active index, initial value of active index to 0. Then we increase it by 1, and we check if our home that we open is the last. Each time when we click on it, we check, and if it's the last one, we want our book to be closed. And we apply timeout function, and then we reset our values, our index value to 0, and for each element home of our array, we set our flip and opacity values to initial. And here we add additional values. It's duration, and we call it flip back duration. I put cursor, click Alt B, and here is value. And it's different. We have duration and flick back duration. When I check it to the same value, you can see how it works. We come to the last page. We want our book to be closed, and it appears too slow. So we set it to value 500. And we calculate it. Again, I will show with Alt B our flick back duration. Sorry, we don't calculate it, we set it just to 500. And that we need to set value for delay. Alt B. Here is our delay, and delay we calculate. We multiply reset delay time by duration. And duration we don't want to change to show this effect. I will change reset delay time to play with it. For example, it will be 15. How it works. I click on pages, I come to the last, and you can see that our book is closed too fast. So you can play with this value in order to achieve effect that you need. And as you can see, in order to create this animation, all we did on our service, we create our mock database with single property image. We extended this each element with property image with two properties, flip and opacity. We applied animation. We reset our animation on the last element of our collection, and the last that I would mention is perspective. It's very important for our like book functionality for our photo gallery. So if I change it, if I set it to 1000, for example, I set this value dynamically, and you can see that it's not so easy to manage, like values that we need that we set on settings. So in future I will manage it and move everything to one place. When we just start working with any directive, first we can apply values locally in order to have access to manage it at this time. But then when we get a result that we wish to achieve, we manage it moving to one place on settings. And so I change it to 1000. I reload directive, click, and you can see that distortion of our proportions of our perspective is different, it's larger, and it's a little bit overlapped by our navbar. So by playing with this property with perspective, you can manage this effect. And I will come to our value, and also when working with perspective, it's so working with rotation we set perspective, and working with it's important to align our surface, and it means align our book to certain position. When I will show it practically, it's related to the notion of camera position in 3D graphics, because perspective distance distortion depends on it. So you can see that on modifier I align it to the middle, and if I set my directive to, it will be origin, I will leave as is, but align on parent higher, so I want it to appear higher. Okay, it's too high, it will be 4. You can see the difference in perspective effect. So on the top of list it's larger. It seems that we flipping our pages, we like keeping our book on the top, so our camera view is on the bottom, our eyes view. And if we set it lower, for example to 7, you can see that here we almost don't see any perspective, and in order to see there on the bottom it's overlapped, I will increase height of our up. And now you can see that it perspective appears on the top and almost is not visible on the bottom. So it's very important to set correctly perspective and alignment for your famous directive. I set it to the center. We would like it appear like this. from eye view from the center, for eye view, for camera view from the center. For me it seems that it looks fine. And that's it for today. Thank you, bye bye.